It is now 7:30 a.m. I'm delighted to welcome all shareholders and observers to this annual general meeting of Zelira Therapeutics Limited. For those that don't know me, I am Osagie Imasogie, Zelira's chairman. The other directors present today are Oludare Odumosu, CEO and managing director, and he is in person in Perth in our offices. Tim Slate, the non-executive director and company secretary. Tim is also in person in Perth in our offices. And Lisa Gray, non-executive director, who's participating virtually. Also present today is Brad McVeigh, representing our auditors, HLB Man Judd, and Lisa Awan from our share registry, ComputerShare. I will ask all those present to note that the shareholders registry is available for inspection and that the proxies affecting today's resolutions are tabled and available for inspection. There is a quorum present, and I declare the meeting open. Today's meeting is being held as a hybrid meeting, in person and also online by the ComputerShare meeting platform. This allows shareholders, proxies, and guests who cannot attend in person to attend the meeting virtually. All attendees can watch a live webcast of the meeting. In addition, shareholders and proxies have the ability to ask questions and submit votes. Online attendees can submit questions at any time. To ask a question, if you are here in person, please raise your hand and state your name, and then put your question to me as chair. I may ask the appropriate person to respond to your question. Those online, select the Q&A icon, type your question into the text box. Once you have finished typing, please hit the send button. Please note that while you can submit online questions from now on, I will not address them until the relevant time in the meeting. Please also note that your questions may be moderated, or if we receive multiple questions on one topic, amalgamated together. To ask a verbal question, please follow the instructions written below the broadcast. Voting today will be conducted by way of a poll on all items of business. I will shortly open voting for all resolutions. For those online, if you are eligible to vote, once voting opens, press the vote icon and all resolutions will be activated with voting options. To cast your vote, simply select one of the options. There is no need to hit a submit or enter button, as the vote is automatically recorded. You will receive a vote confirmation notification on your screen. In accordance with ASX listing rules, voting on this resolution will be conducted by a poll at the end of the meeting. You can change your vote up until the time voting is declared closed. I now declare voting open on all items of business. No apologies have been received. The notice convening this meeting was dated the 14th of October, 2022, and if there are no objections, we will take the notice of meeting as read. All right. Zelira's financial year 2022 was a year of significant progress, delivering and exceeding on clear growth objectives set by our senior management team and achieving several major milestones. These key milestones included entering new global markets, launching new products, advancing clinical validation of key proprietary medications, as well as successfully raising capital to fund the significant growth opportunities we see ahead for our business. Underpinning our positive progress is our multiple shots on goal strategy, which is core to our value proposition. I'm very proud of the diversification we have achieved to date under this strategy. Zelira owns a portfolio of proprietary revenue-generating products with a pipeline of candidates undergoing clinical development that are well positioned to enter global markets. Our branded cannabinoid-based medicines treat a variety of medical conditions in our prescription RX business, including insomnia, autism, and chronic non-cancer pain, as well as offering over-the-counter products for oral care, dermatology, or acne treatment, and pain relief. Our products offering also extends to the newly developed patent-protected Zelira technology, which creates pharmaceutical-grade cannabis-based capsules and tablets for global markets. I would like to introduce our Global Managing Director and CEO, Oludare Odumosu, who has led the business through a rewarding 12 months. Oludare will provide a more detailed overview of the milestones achieved and key priorities, followed by an opportunity for shareholders to ask questions. Oludare and I have worked closely together for over a decade, sharing a passion for expanding clinically validated medicinal cannabis and ultimately improving the lives of individuals and patients. We are very excited by the opportunities we see within the Zelira portfolio and confident in substantially growing the business over the next several years. Oludare, please would you go ahead and do your presentation?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's an honor to be here in Perth and to be here at our annual general meeting with our shareholders and to bring to you updates about our company's progress over the last year. As the chairman has said, our company has gone through significant growth with hallmarked by achievements in very, very significant milestones that we've set for the company. So very quickly, it is my honor to present to you some of those milestones and to share with you some of the priorities that keep us excited and keep us laser focused at Zelira over the next year and beyond. Next slide. We continue to stay focused as a biopharmaceutical company that is very, very clear about our objectives, which is developing and commercializing high quality, clinically validated cannabinoid-based medicines and expanding them into global markets as the world opens up. We generate revenue from these products, we develop technologies, we expand our patent portfolio, and altogether, all of that put together sets us as a company at the front of delivering value for our shareholders and our investment community, and doing so with great expertise, with great prospects for real value in this space, in the biotech space. Next slide, please. In the year 2021, coming into 2022, Zelira set out to really plant our flag as the world's leading platform for clinical research in the medicinal cannabis space. We also set out to expand our research platform by partnering with people across the world, from Australia to the US, who are focused on developing products, answering questions, figuring out how this new pharmacology of cannabis impacts different therapeutic areas. In addition, we set out to launch the products within our portfolio, as well as develop new products within our expanded business markets into the hemp-derived OTC space. So this slide reflects some of the milestones we achieved in 2021, which include partnerships that in clinical research and receiving approvals for them under the auspices of the TGA in Australia and in the US. One of those achievements is marked by the approval of Zelira's first IRB study, that is a comparative head-to-head study using one of our proprietary products against a multi-billion-dollar revenue-generating big pharma product in the United States. We expect the results of that study to read out very soon. But this milestone was achieved in 2021, and we continue to pursue it. In addition to the expansion of our clinical programs, Zelira began to show the world that we are a technology and a platform technology development and commercialization company. As the chairman said, as a multiple shots on goal company, we can deliver value at different levels, at different speeds, in different areas of value to our company and certainly to our investors. As such, we launched the first of its kind proprietary technology that allows you to capture distillate botanical extracts from cannabis in a pharmaceutical grade free flow powder. Why is this important? This solves major problems in the industry today. One problem, the major problem that it solves, is that now drug developers in the cannabinoid medicine space can now really think about developing solid oral dosage forms such as capsules and tablets using pharma-grade ingredient matrix, and doing so to accelerate real drug development that target real therapeutic areas and real problems in the medical space. So we're very excited about that. As such, as an expanding company, we continue to grow. To grow, we need capital. As a biotech company that is fundamentally focused on product development and commercialization and expansion, we've been able to attract investments to the Zelira platform. In the year 2021, we attracted significant funds from a key investor in the United States who invested in our company at the time at a premium to our share price. We continue to grow, we continue to expand, we continue to develop. The next slide shows additional milestones that we achieved in 2022. But I want to also mention that the technology that we developed in Zelira at the end of 2021 was immediately licensed and in the United States with the option to apply that license to the creation of medicinal products. This licensing deal brought in additional revenue through upfront non-refundable payments to our company, again highlighting that we can generate revenue through multiple paths in our company as we continue to drive growth, as we continue to drive expansion and value creation for the company. In the year 2022, Zelira not only launched products that came out of collaboration partnerships, such as the launch of Itura, which was based on a partnership to develop a topical product that addresses or alleviates some of the symptoms associated with peripheral arterial disease or the neuropathies along the diabetic spectrum. As well, one of the big milestones of 2022 for us was that Zelira ventured through a distribution partnership into the German market. And in the year 2022, we received approval from Germany's regulatory body called the BfArM for our branded product, Zenable. I always want to remind us that Zenable is the world's most advanced clinically validated treatment for insomnia that is a cannabinoid-based drug. This was a significant milestone for our company. This was an exciting milestone for our company because it completely truly and significantly validates the fact that Zelira can create high-quality medicinal products, that Zelira can validate this high-quality medicinal products in the world's most credible and highly regulated markets and regulatory paths, that Zelira can expand those products in different geographies, such as Australia, into the German markets, and into other emerging markets. Additionally, in 2022, we further validated our launch, learn, and develop model, where we launched products into the market across multiple geographic territories, across multiple therapeutic areas, and we've layered on top of that a learning through observational trials, through longitudinal trials, across multiple geographies, across multiple territories, and we've taken the learning and reported out the results. In the year 2020, we reported out 2 key studies. We reported out studies from our real-world evidence trials for both Zenivol and for one of our Hope range of products, Hope 1. These studies were conducted in Australia. These studies were conducted in a clinical setting in Australia under the auspices of the TGA's approval. These studies were conducted using Zelira's products, where prescribers prescribed our medicines to patients and followed the patients over a period of time. I will touch on the results of the studies later in my presentation. Finally, in this year, in this calendar fiscal year, Zelira increased our revenue. Why is that important? Zelira became or converted, we in this year converted Zelira to an otherwise, a company which was a research platform and a non-generating company as a biotech company, a company that is, traditionally would deploy funds for clinical research, clinical development. That platform, I'm happy to report, was converted to a revenue-generating company. This is very important because now we can say that the prospects for additional revenue within our company is quite exciting. On top of, or as what we say, an addition to the other values that Zelira returns to our investors. Next slide, please. Very specifically, this slide highlights what I've already said about the importance of the Germany approval, which we received in July of 2022. Our partners on the ground in Germany, Agipharm, are a very focused commercial machine and have the capability to distribute cannabinoid-based medicines and have been successful in doing so across Germany. You can appreciate why this is significant, because now Germany now has a drug that has gone through a high level of clinical validation. It's not just a cannabis extract. This drug is now approved by BfArM for commercialization. It is in the hands of partners that know what they're doing in the German market and have a track record of being successful. This is very, very exciting for our company as we continue to validate our portfolio of drugs, including Zenivol and others. Next slide, please. This slide again just highlights that it reminds us that we are able to attract funding into the company. We're able to deploy the funding very efficiently. We're able to use it to expand the company and attract investors such as Quincy Street, who invested $5 million into the company, and also to protect the dilution for our shareholders in the company. Additionally, in this year, we embarked on a consolidation of our shares. And the reason we did that was and we sought shareholder approval, for which we received, I believe, more than 98% approval from our shareholders to proceed with this consolidation. What that does is it transitions our company from a penny stock into a dollar stock space, which opens the doors for attracting more institutional investors and more investors who would like to participate in the company but could not at the penny stock level. We hope to continue to grow our company even in the markets. Next slide, please. Zelira continues to focus on being a multiple shots on goal company. One of these ways specifically is our capacity to attract revenue as one of the shots on goal to creating value for this company and growing this company. But also within our revenue generating capacity, we have demonstrated that we can do so across multiple streams. the launch of our products that have been developed and commercialized under our launch, learn, and develop model, our product lines such as Hope 1, Hope 2, additional products under our OTC program, such as our Rafai brand with 5 products in it, our oral care brand with 1 product in it, with more to come, as well as additional products under development. What is very important about our revenue streams and how Zelira is able to deliver value to our shareholders is that within our OTC and our RX business, there are multiple ways we can generate revenue, some within immediate control, as we've seen with our OTC business, and some with longer term value to come in. That extends even to the licensing of our technologies, the licensing of our products in multiple geographies, distribution deals, and all of these revenue streams will come in at different levels, but altogether continue to raise our revenue prospects as we move into the next years and months and years to come. This is very exciting for a company like Zelira. This shows that within our company, there is great revenue prospect that is locked, and it comes from different ways and at different levels, different speeds. And our shareholders should be very excited about that. Next slide, please. Again, we've described our launch, learn, and develop model. What this does is, or why am I excited to put this slide back here up today and talk about it, is because we've validated it. We've launched products, we've read out results of our real world studies, and in some cases across multiple geographies, where real patients, real testimonials, real physicians have used our medicines and reported. We've reported results that shows that our drugs are efficacious, they're tolerable, they're safe in real patients who are suffering from debilitating symptoms, such as symptoms of insomnia and symptoms of autism spectrum disorder. What does that mean for us going forward? It means that we can look at the data we're seeing in real patients, real outcomes, real readouts in real world settings, and use all that information to further develop clinical validations that rapidly accelerate the value proposition of our drugs into higher or much more regulated approval considerations. This is very exciting because at the core of Zelira's business is our capacity to create, to hopefully develop and commercialize what we believe should be frontline therapies for the treatment of these debilitating conditions in therapeutic areas of great need. Next slide, please. Again, across multiple therapeutic areas, across multiple geographies, we have established Zelira as a company with footprints in drug development, in rapid commercialization, with a capacity to generate revenue, with a capacity to enter into the world's most regulated markets. And that trajectory continues for our company because there's more to come as we expand across the world. Thank you. Next slide, please. The next few slides are the slides that remind our shareholders of the real products that are addressing real conditions, from autism, next slide please, to insomnia. The next slide please. And our OTC markets. I will pause here to share with us 2 exciting things that happened within those 2 spaces in our Australia business, in our clinical operations business in Australia. This year, we read out for both Zedible and for Hope 1 results from our real world data. Why is that very important to us? I'm excited to share with us as our shareholders today that we know it is not theoretical, it is practical. We know that these drugs work because clinicians have used them, patients have used them. They are in different countries now. Zenabol is now in Australia and has been approved in Germany. And we have announced and we're working on commercialization in other territories such as New Zealand. Those partners can leverage the value of our the results of our clinical trials that we've read out as they work on commercializing these drugs in their markets. Why is that important? In the German market, for example, physicians have said, we want products for which we can rely and be confident that the results from those from the studies that are coming from those results are credible. Well, for Zenabol, the results of our phase 1b/2a studies were not only reported by our company, but credible enough to be submitted for consideration for publication in one of the world's most prestigious journals of the Sleep Society, which is the Journal of Sleep. In this past year, the results from that study was accepted, was published, and is now widely available for clinicians to use and refer to as this product enters into the German market. I don't want this information to be lost on value because with additional clinical validation, we continue to position our portfolio of drugs for real value in the world's largest markets, such as Germany and beyond. Next slide, please. This is the results I was just talking about, where it shows that Zenabol met and impacted the insomnia severity index as measured by validated clinical validation by physicians at Emerald Clinic here in Australia. Excuse me. This is very important for me to address the value of this real-world study for Zenabol, because remember, we did the first clinical study, which is published in the Journal of Sleep. And on top of that, this is the real-world study that further validates that study. And now that is being made available for our partners in Germany and also in the distribution deals we are working on in New Zealand and for others to come. Next slide, please. Within our OTC business, Zelira focuses on value that we can control, our capacity to generate revenue, especially in the United States, where hemp-derived cannabinoids can be used to create products that for us are science-backed in areas of great value, such as oral care and dermatology, and we can commercialize into the market very rapidly and get value back for our company. In this past year, we did that in the oral care space, and we did that in the dermatology space. And I'm happy to report back to you as our shareholders that these programs continue to expand. Our CBD toothpaste, next slide, please, is now commercially available and is available for purchase on commercial platforms such as Amazon. And we are proceeding to expand the access of these products into global markets through partnerships. We've announced the distribution of that product through a deal with Health House into the UK markets, and we're excited to see how that program grows. In addition, our focus in the dermatology space through a partnership with Dr. Karen Grossman and the creation of a brand called RAF5, which is a science-backed, acne-focused OTC product line, a regimen of 5 products. Next slide, please. A regimen of 5 products that address the symptoms, the cascade of presentations of acne. Why is this important? This is important because this is a space that is mostly affected by women And the numbers show that 75% of people living with the symptoms of acne are dissatisfied. This is a crowded space because the products don't work. Zelira took an approach here, excuse me, where we went and took a deep dive into how acne presents itself, all the way to the cellular level. And with experts such as Dr. Karen Grossman, who is a revered clinical dermatologist, Harvard-trained, sometimes referred to as the dermatologist of the stars in the United States, a very conservative, scientific dermatologist. And in coming together, the result was the creation of these 5 products, from the cleanser to the spot treatment to the sunscreen to moisturizing lotions and to cleansing pads. What this range of products do is that they cover the entire spectrum of acne treatment regimen. And we're very excited about this particular brand because we now are presenting to the market an option that is based on an already FDA-approved monograph or salicylic acid for the treatment of acne. On top of that, we also have what you call the consumer use data that gives us what you call the real-life before and after images. And we're very proud to share with our shareholders that this brand is beginning to make its mark in this space, in the target demographic, and in the market for which it is expected to show impact. Again, we expect to expand this over the next few months to years in the United States and across the world through our partnership programs. Thank you very much. Next slide, please. As I have laid out to us, Zelira is not just only a product development company. We are also a platform technology company. In this past year, we developed and commercialized a major and groundbreaking technology that can now capture botanical distillate for cannabinoids and convert them into free flow powder that is pharmaceutical grade and can be used to make capsules and tablets. We've already done a foundation licensing deal for this technology with more to come. And we are excited about it, and we continue to believe that this is going to be one of the major prospects for both revenue generation and for value creation in our company. And by the way, we've put the right patent protections around this technology as well. Next slide, please. As a whole, Zelira's portfolio of patents continue to grow. Our portfolio has expanded in the year 2021 coming into 2022. We now have well over 40 granted or approved patents across over 26 countries of the world, across about 9 therapeutic areas, with over 100 patents either being prosecuted or being examined. Why is this important? As a biotech platform, as a biotech company, we can build and grow value for our company and for our investors in multiple ways. We do so by creating products. We do so by commercializing products. We do so by generating revenue through licensing programs, through licensing of the products and technologies. But we also do so by having real patents that are in some cases very broad, that creates real value and are valued very, very significantly valued on our companies, on our balance sheet. So as a whole, Zelira is a company for which our investors can look at it and say that in this company is locked multiple ways of creating value. And we continue to do so. Our priorities over the next 12 months or 12 to 24 months are as follows. We have set a significant flag in our clinical program. We have validated the drugs in our portfolio using our launch, land, and develop model. And in the next 12 to 24 months, those programs are expected to grow. As a result, we expect to read out the results from a milestone study from our US-based diabetic nerve pain trial. Thirdly, we expect that over the next few months, the revenue prospects for our company will grow through additional licenses of our products and technologies and the expansion of our OTC products as well as our RX business. We are a growing company. We're a rapidly exciting company. We're a company that knows how to deploy capital and maximize value for capital while we grow our business. And finally, next slide, please. We're a company that is traded on the ASX. We continue to report the advances in our business, and we are not unaware of the frustrations of the current market. But as a company, we believe that our growth path, we believe that our capacity to expand into the world's highly regulated markets, generate revenue, will continue to drive value for our shareholders and reflect on on our share price. Next slide, please. We do this because we believe that we are backed by a very strong team, from the chairman of our board to our non-executive directors, and I have the honor of leading our company into a great future and to return value for our shareholders. With this, I return back to the chairman of our board for formal business of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oludare, for your presentation. We're now open for Q&A. So if there are any questions, we're more than glad to take them now.
Hi, Osagie. It's Tim Slade. I haven't received any questions during that presentation.
Okay. All right. There have been no questions. We will move on to the formal business of today's meeting. I table for consideration the annual financial report of the company for the financial year ended 30th of June, 2022, together with the reports by directors and auditors thereon. Does anyone wish to discuss any aspects of the accounts or have any questions relevant to the conduct of the audit by our auditors?
No questions here. Thank you, Osagie.
All right. There being no questions, we will move on to the resolutions. In accordance with the recent ASX listing rule changes, voting on this resolution will be conducted by a poll, as I mentioned earlier on. Tim Slate, who is our company secretary, will now put the details of proxies received and tabled by the company on the screen. I will draw your attention to those votes before putting all of the resolutions formally to a poll. Where entitled, the company's chairman's proxy votes have been cast in favor of each of the resolutions. So you have the information now on the screen. Right. Resolution 1, adoption of remuneration report. To consider and if thought fit, to pass with or without amendment, the following as a non-binding resolution. That for the purposes of section 250R2 of the Corporations Act and for all other purposes, approval is given for the adoption of the remuneration report as contained in the company's annual financial report for the financial year ended 30th June 2022. Proxy votes received for these resolutions are detailed on the screen. Votes in favor were 781,832, approximately 93.82% of the votes. Against was 41,669, approximately 5% of the vote. And proxy discretion was 9,899, approximately 1.18%, which will be voted in favor of the resolution. And abstinence is 369,261. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
No questions here, Osagie.
All right, thank you. Let's go to the next resolution, Resolution 2, election of Director Tim Slate. To consider and if thought fit to pass with or without amendment the following as an ordinary resolution, that for the purpose of clause 12.7 of the Constitution, ASX listing rules 14.4, and for all other purposes, Mr. Tim Slate, a director who was appointed to fill a casual vacancy on 31 January 2022, retires and being eligible is elected as a director as described in the explanatory statement. The proxy votes received for this resolution are detailed on the screen. We had 1.976,400 million in favor, which is 98.48%. Against was 19,768, which is 0.98%. And the proxy discretion, again, which will be used in favor of the resolution, was 10,759, which is 0.54%. And abstention was 5,565. Any discussions on this resolution?
No questions here, Osagie.
Thank you. Resolution number 3, the approval of 10% placement capacity. To consider and if thought fit to pass with or without amendment the following as a special resolution, that for the purpose of listing rule 7.1a and for all other purposes, approval is given for the company to issue up to that number of equity securities equal to 10% of the issued capital of the company at the time of issue, calculated in accordance with the formula prescribed in ASX listing rule 7.1a2, and otherwise on the terms and conditions set out in the explanatory statement. Proxy votes received for this resolution are detailed on the screen. In favor, 1.566091 million, which is 78.07. Against, 428,562,000, 21.36. Proxy discretion is 11,257, which is approximately 0.57, which will be voted in favor. And abstention was 6,852. Any discussions of this resolution?
No questions received, Osagie.
All right. So let's go to resolution 4, which is to consider and if thought fit to pass with or without amendment the following as an ordinary resolution. That for the purposes of AXS listing rule 7.2, exception 13B, and for all other purposes, approval is given for the company to adopt an employee incentive plan, incentive scheme titled Zelira Therapeutics Employee Option Plan, and for the issue of up to a maximum number of 478,855 securities under that plan on the terms and conditions set out in the explanatory statement. Proxy votes received for this resolution are detailed on the screen. In favor, 778,992, which is approximately 63.74%. Against, 432,406, approximately 35.38%. The proxy discretion was 10,759, which is 0.88%, which will be voted in favor of the resolution. And abstention will be 7,504. Any discussions of this particular resolution?
No questions received, Osagie.
Thank you. So let's go to resolution 5, replacement of constitution. To consider and if thought fit to pass with or without amendment the following as a special resolution, that for the purposes of section 136(2) of the Corporations Act and for all other purposes, approval is given for the company to repeal its existing constitution and adopt a new constitution in its place in the form as signed by the chairman of the meeting for identification purposes. The proxy votes for this particular resolution in favor was 1.571693 million, which is approximately 78.63%. Against was 416,918,000, approximately 20.85 against. And proxy discretion was 10,399, which is 0.52%, which will be voted in favor of the resolution. And in abstaining is 13,482. Any discussions of this resolution?
No questions received, Osagie.
Thank you, Tim. I now put the motions to the meeting. In accordance with ASX listing rules, voting on this resolution will be conducted by a poll. That concludes the question section of the meeting. I would like to advise that voting on all resolutions will close shortly. I will provide you all with a few minutes, a few moments actually, now to allow you to finish voting. Please complete your voting now. Okay, I now declare the poll closed with the results to be announced to the ASX later today. That concludes the formal part of today's business, and there's no general business to be conducted. Thank you all for your attendance, ladies and gentlemen, and I declare the meeting closed at, that will be 8:16 a.m. Perth time. Thank you very much.